Did you watch their announcement? Nice to see you. Grammy has been giving to the same artist for decades. Nothing new. Kinda nothing new. You didn't wait for it. No? Why did you not wait for it? Okay, a blank screen before it actually loads an image. Okay, so this is not going to be very lengthy. Just want to make sure everyone we're all on the same page because sometimes I keep on seeing the same complaints from other people, especially K-pop fans. And one of that complaint is that why do we keep on assuming that Grammys will awards to non-American or non-English speaking singers or non-English songs, considering that it is supposed to be an American award giving body. So they're kind of like, why do you expect that? Like, for example, Mama, do you expect Mama to give an award to foreign acts? Of course not, because that's for Asia, that's for Korea. So that's the main question. Why do non American acts even dream of winning a Grammy? Well, for one, we do need to understand that the US is in a very unique situation in that it is sort of a melting pot of different cultures. The entire country is actually built on different cultures. They a lot of people who settled here are immigrants during that time. Of course, they're native now, but from different countries. Los Angeles, if I don't know if you know this, but a lot of the Native Americans are actually, yeah. So you know the history. It's a lot of different cultures coming together. So that puts the US in a very unique situation. There is a common consensus that being American doesn't necessarily mean you're a specific skin color, or it's not even a language. It's just really a melting pot of different cultures. And then also the fact that the US in itself is the reigning reserve currency of the world. Basically, we're tying a lot of countries together because you're using our money. The US dollar is actually our biggest economy, the US dollar. So the mere fact that we are going to other countries, sort of exporting our dollar so that you can use it, gives other countries access to the market of the United States. Okay, so that makes Grammy, just like the US, a global industry. It's not just America alone, it's the US. In fact, one of the early winners in the 60s, when Grammy was just starting out, they were actually giving out awards to Asians and other non-American acts. The first Asian is actually a Filipino, is Larry Ramos. He was a member of a band, the Association, and he won an award in 1963. How long has the live started? About 10 minutes. Multi-San 95. So 1963, he actually won an award. After that, that's him. That's him. And then however, in the very first year of Grammy, 1959, the song of the year and record of the year wasn't even an English song. It was actually I think Italian. So Volare is the name. I don't know how to pronounce the Italian name of the song, but it was written and sang by Domenico Madugno. I think he's Italian. So he won an award in 1959. The song was released 1958. Record of the year and song of the year. So a non-English song winning the Grammy is not entirely impossible. In fact, it was the very first winner of an award. Record of the year and song of the year was non-English. Now, how did that happen? Because Grammys mission, their fundamental mission has always been to recognize superiority of songs or music worldwide. It has never been just confined to the US. So in during the 1960s, members are expected to participate in workshops and training on voting integrity and criteria, ensuring that they make informed choices based on artistic and technical merit rather than popularity. So this I heard that these workshops and training were very, very serious. If you do not attend these workshops and trainings, you cannot vote. So they emphasize the importance of actually recognizing technical merit of the song, the messaging of the song. They give out workshops so that as an artist, you're not just concerned about who's the more popular singer or what is the more popular song or who's your friend or whatever, but you're actually looking at the technical merits of the song. Now, do you expect somebody like Taylor Swift to sit through an entire day of workshop and training? You don't, right? Because she's a busy person. So eventually, this actually went away. They're still giving it away, but apparently, you don't have to attend it, or someone else can attend in your place, stuff like that. Now, even after even you before being a member, the process of being a member was actually very strict. You need to submit an application and you need to provide documentation that verifies your professional qualifications, including credits in released recordings. And when you provide your portfolio, you can't just because you've released an album, for example, doesn't mean that you automatically qualify. You have to actually make meaningful impact in the music industry. So you need to have been a pivotal artist in the music industry for them to accept you. Now, for as long as you've sold some albums, you're okay. For as long as you have some several syncs, you're okay. You can be a member. During that time, they screen you. Not everybody can just uh, be a member. Now, because of Grammy's emphasis in quality during the 60s, often the ones that won would be music genres like jazz, classical, standards, rather than what we know to be the common winners of today, rock and pop, because the approach, again, was to recognize quality over popularity. So usually in the early days of Grammys, there's always a contrast between what the public expects and what they actually eventually end up winning. Okay. In the website of the Grammys, they specifically said that they want to advance a strong culture of diversity, inclusion, belonging, and respect at the Recording Academy, its affiliates, and in the music industry. So this is their current mission. So if you notice, they never mention anything about the US or whatever. It's always about inclusivity. So it's always global, and they want to recognize the quality over anything else. So the question is, so what happened? If they were that strict before, how did we end up being here right now? Before I proceed, just want to clarify that I am in no way saying that all the winners of Grammys, they're all trash. Absolutely not. There have been a lot of winners who absolutely deserve to win, and and they need to be recognized for that. So I'm not saying that all winners are bozos or whatever. Absolutely not. It's just that there are a lot of others who are non-winners or didn't win, didn't even get nominated that should have been. Okay. So what happened? The Grammys actually became a victim of their own prestige. Because they're so prestigious, everybody wanted to become a member of the Grammy. So from all walks of life, pop, hip hop, rock, whatever you can think of, everybody just wants to be a member of the Grammys. And it also adds to the credibility of the artist if they are a member of the Grammy. And so what happened was that the agents, publicists, managers, they started moving and actually started networking in order to push their artists, the artists that they are managing, to become a member of the Grammys. So slowly, it wasn't about qualifying anymore. It wasn't about submitting somebody that has substantial work that made an impact in the music industry. It was just about, okay, this music executive wants their artist to become a member of the Grammy, so let's give him membership. A publicist will do some networking in order to push another artist to become a member of the Grammy. Okay, so it became a game of money and influence. Executives and uh, publicists vet for their artists. The need to actually screen the body of the work of the artist went away. Now, also, if you are a popular singer, for example, and you're filling up stadiums or arenas, then of course, because you're popular, the Grammy would want to make you a member because that will help the popularity of Grammys. Okay. The problem is that popularity, as we know, doesn't always equate to quality. There's a lot of popular songs, popular artists who are just releasing trash songs that don't really mean anything, songs that just with questionable quality. You've heard this kind of song so many times. It talks about the same thing: sex, more sex, body, violating women, violating men, violate. It's just, it's all about the same thing. It's just, uh, there isn't any diversity in terms. It's not even diversity. It's just like no substance in the music that they are releasing, but they get to be a member just because they are popular. Okay. So as those things progress, as managers and music executives and publicists campaign for other members to become a member, then it became a member of quid pro quo, meaning I vote for you, you vote for me. So it has just become, okay, all right, I'm good at this. My artists will vote for you, for your artists. Make sure they vote for my artists. Then we win, right? So it has become it became politics rather than actual quality of music. um, it also boiled down to parties and cliques. So different friend groups. If an artist is influential, you kind of want to belong to that group, then you will vote for that artist. Again, it because that artist is popular, not necessarily because they are pumping quality music. And then we already know by now the case of P. Diddy, the parties that he actually hosts, the company that he keeps. Now we know that he actually would blackmail other artists, that if you don't participate in his parties and not become his friend, then he will kill your your career. Because he has a lot of contacts, he can easily kill your career. um, and there's actually, I don't know if you know this, but there is an interview of Cat Williams, um, who interviewed him. But there he talked about the necessity of saying no to people like P. Diddy. He actually said it, like, you got to tell him no because you blah, blah, blah. He was pretty explicit in that interview. It actually exploded because he did not have any filter during that interview. He just talked about how corrupt the industry is, people that were paying people, and all of those stuff. The problem is that, for example, for an artist like BTS, they don't even go to parties after. Shay Shay, yeah, Shay Shay interviewed Cat Williams. If you go to YouTube and search for that interview, watch the entire thing. Your head is going to explode. Shannon Sharp, yeah, your head is just going to explode with the amount of things that he actually revealed. And at that, because his Cat Williams is actually a comedian and a pretty damn good one at that. Okay, but and so sometimes you're kind of like, is he trying to be funny or he's actually telling the truth? Because the things that he just revealed just so unbelievable that it was actually so hard for you to believe it, because it's just so out of this world. Like, they'll do that? Like, maybe, maybe he's just trying to be funny. But try searching for that interview. My god, the things that he revealed there. Okay, so the problem is that, for example, for groups like BTS, they have different value system. The one good thing about BTS is that when they penetrated the industry, the global industry, the Western industry, they were mature already. Their values were intact. They know their priorities. They were very much respecting themselves already, so they didn't really participate in many of these things. We know this because after going to an award show, instead of going to parties like galas, they call it galas, parties after these award shows, they would do a live stream so that they can talk with us. They Other artists would actually use that opportunity to network so that they can meet people. And again, it all boils down to quid pro quo. If you develop this relationship, then eventually, if you get nomination, then you can be a part of that group that says, "I'll vote for you, you vote for me." Yoongi said Grammys, Oscars, isn't that a regional thing? They have a way to go to be considered international. The fact that they broke through at all is incredible. Honestly, Melody, I do think that they already are there. They are already international. They are already global. The only people that are not, the only set of the group that's not acknowledging them would be the insiders of the Hollywood industry. But per market, they already have the market share. They already have the commercial power. So it's just that because they are not native, I'm not just talking about like their nationality or racial or race or ethnicity, but the mere fact that they are not native in this industry and they're not playing by the rules of this industry, they are being treated as outsiders, and will forever be unless they start submitting to the culture of the West, which, as far as we know now, they aren't really willing to do. Okay, so my opinion, how is, and so we have come to that stage where Grammy has already lost its credibility, not its prestige. It isn't as prestigious as before. It is still prestigious, but it's more about the name that it has established rather than the quality and the cost that it is standing for. If I'm making sense. So it's only people just want the title, not because they believe that being recognized by the Grammy recogni- equates to the recognition of the quality of their work, but because of the prestige of the name or the popularity of the name. That's just about it. I think we all have come to that point in our lives. So we kind of just know that already. In fact, I said in my Patreon channel, if you're a member of my Patreon, in one of the communities there, I said, I'm not even, when they submitted the names of BTS members to for consideration, I wasn't even excited. Like, I think I've reached nirvana because I'm not even excited about it anymore. I will be happy for them, of course, because I feel like it's an unfinished business, but I absolutely do not think it is necessary in anybody's career, not just theirs. So I think they should really overhaul the process because it has been too politicized for it to become credible again. For it's too hard for them to bring it back to their original mission, and that is to recognize the quality of the music that are being released and push forward the quality, or help in improving the quality of the industry. I think voting, if they want to keep it, but it should only be a part of the criteria, and not it shouldn't be the be all and end all of the judging. I feel numb about Grammy. I do think that they need experts, those who are detached from the industry but attached to the music of art, the art of music. And there's a lot of these people. They need to really get people that know music. They know not just the technical side of music, but also the historical, the history of music, so that they will know which beats or style or melodies have actually been used, if it is really innovative, how the shifting between majors and minors affect the messaging, stuff like that. I do think that they need experts that will judge this, that will be a part judging. The judgment of the experts must be a part of the criteria. And then I think they need transparency. It's just that because it has become that quid pro quo, um, I vote for you, you vote for me, it has become that. the only way for them to get away from it is to be transparent about everything. You have to you have to judge and look at a song through at least two components: the technical merit of the song and the substance of the lyrics. And then the substance can be further divided into form and content. You can't just talk about sex all the time and expect that your song is going to win song of the year just because it was so popular. You can talk about a broken heart and use the same kind of lines and words and have no poetry in that and expect that it's going to win the song of the year or record of the year just because it became popular. It's just you can talk about partying, you can talk about waging a war just because, and then just because it became popular, you're going to expect that it's going to win song of the year. There has to be some merit on the message, the form, and the content of a song. Okay, so I to this date, I guess the thing is that, as we all know, BTS is the only K-pop act that has been nominated in the Grammys. I am not sure when the next one is going to happen. I hope that this changes happen before anything else. BTS and SNL, my gateway. Yeah. So the other thing is that they actually, someone on Twitter, I think it was Spotify, who mentioned that what's her name? Bruno Mars and Olivia Rodrigo are the only Asians nominated for a Grammy that year, singers. And it raised a lot of questions because neither were born and raised in Asia. Both were actually born and raised in the US. I think, I'm pretty sure Bruno Mars's parents were raised in the Philippines, moved to Hawaii, but he was born and raised in Hawaii. And then Olivia, I think great grandfather or something, and she actually never acknowledged her her heritage until recently when she went to the Philippines for a concert. So of the two, I'm more inclined to say, yeah, Bruno Mars is actually Filipino because he's more attached to our culture, and he has been always been very, very vocal about where he came from. Also, Hawaii has a very, very strong Filipino community. So, but then there is a question of, are we, so how do we determine which who is Asian or who is not, right? Like, okay, so because your father and your mom are Filipinos or Asian or whatever, then you get to be called Asian, even if you weren't born and raised in Asia. I happen to think that, of course, culture, the society, even the political system of the country where you grew up in would actually influence your own culture. But then there's also the question is, but what is Asian? Like what is it? Like what makes you an Asian? Like just the same way, what makes you a Filipino, right? What makes you Korean? What makes you Japanese? What makes you American? So it's just, but then awarding those labels to certain artists would also take away from artists who were actually born and raised in Asia, right? So to BTS, as far as I know, is the most awarded, not most awarded, but most nominated Asian native act in the Grammys. As far as I know, they are the most nominated Asian native act in the Grammys. But then, do we even have to classify it that way? When in fact, so then we go back to the question of who do we consider to be Asian or not? But also because there is a drive to sort of recognize or acknowledge someone's self identity. Then if somebody says, yeah, I'm Filipino, yeah, I'm Korean or whatever, do we take that away from that person even if they weren't born and raised in Asia? So there's so many questions about that. But as of now, I think Grammy sort of formally saying that Olivia Rodrigo and Bruno Mars were the only Asians nominated as singers in the Grammy.